Hey, college football fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime sports handicapper and professional sports bettor here in Vegas for the past 35 years. And this is your Gary Wins videos. And this is another college football playoff preview. This is the middle game, game number 2 of 3 for Saturday's slate. And this game pits Clemson at Texas in Austin, Texas. Line on this game is Texas 12.5. The total is 51.5. Very big line move here on this game. The sharps are all over Texas as this game opened just 8.5. For the two teams playing here on TNT, 4 p.m. kickoff time, weather should not be like a lot of these other games where they're being played in cold weather facilities. So that's always a much better game to watch as far as I'm concerned. But for the total players, Clemson has played 6 overs and 7 unders. Texas has played 4 overs and 9 unders. For Clemson, their head coach, Dabo Swinney, 7-2 against the spread in playoff games. This guy has gotten his team prepared for the big ones. 5-2 straight up as a dog in playoff games. And he's 20-12 against the spread as an underdog overall as a head coach at Clemson. So when he's the underdog, he's rallied his troops. As for Clemson, this is the first time that they've been a double-digit underdog since 2014. As for the Texas head coach, Steve Sarkisian, he is 15-10 against the spread as a home favorite at Texas. For Clemson, their offense, or their team as a whole, plus 90 yards per game over their opponents. And for Texas, they've actually held their opponents to 134 yards per game under their yearly average. And the reason that is their defense is absolutely lights out phenomenal. Clemson's quarterback, Klubnik, 33 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. For the most part, this cat had a fantastic season. Texas's quarterback, yours though, not so much. 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Both of the teams do possess solid number 1 running backs, so they can count on them to at least get them yardage to not always be in 3rd and 10s. Clemson basically has 5 receivers that average 10 yards per pop plus per catch. Texas also has 5, but Texas has 3 of them averaging 15 yards per play or per yard per catch. So these teams have capabilities at wide receiver to make a lot of big plays in this game. Clemson averaging 455 total yards per game in this game, and they're going to go against Texas's defense that allows just 249 yards per game. Texas on offense, they're averaging 445 total yards per game, but Clemson's defense gives up over 100 yards more than Texas' defense does, as they allow 365 total yards per game. Now, Texas defense comes in number 1 in the nation. They have allowed only 4 passing touchdowns all year. That, folks, is something that you might not see again for a long, long time. I said years ago, earlier in the year, when I was doing a preview of Texas against Texas A&M, that the difference about the Texas defense compared to A&M's or anybody else's, they weren't large boys, they weren't men, they were beasts. And that's what they are. This defense is nothing but beasts. This is the best defense I've watched in a couple of years. When we go to the offensive line, defensive line matchup, it's one of my big deal things, offensive line, defensive line, and how they match up. This is something from the old days, back when we just were able to destroy the books week in, week out with this same situation. But Texas's offensive line, it's got an All-American, but they average 330 pounds per man across the line of scrimmage. Big boys. These boys can eat. They're going against the Clemson defensive line that's 285. So they're 45 pounds per man advantage across the line of scrimmage in this game. Now, both special teams to me are very poor. As far as the kicking game, probably a little edge to Clemson because the field goal kicker's not too good for Texas. Most college football programs are elite due to their quarterback or their defense. again, for Texas, it's the defense. That's it. Because the quarterback situation has not gone anywhere where they expected this year with Quinn Ewers. He's been sloppy. He overthrows, underthrows, stays in the pocket too long, getting sacked. The offensive line has held up for him pretty good. They're the second best reason why this team's made it this far. But I can tell you right now, when they were doing these pairings, Clemson saw that they were getting Texas. That was probably the team they were happiest to see, because this is a beatable offense. Clemson can score points if they can do something against this vaulted defense of Texas, which I don't know if they can. They can be able to hang in there, just because I don't believe Texas's offense is going to go up and throw 35 points up on the board. They're just not capable of that, or they haven't shown it all year. Now, in Quinn Ewers' case, he's had a couple bad games. One of them was against Georgia the first time around. The second time around, even though they lost the second time to Georgia, he was able to put up some passing yards. So maybe he can carry that momentum into this game. But he's got 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, sacked 22 times. I graded him for the year C. He was supposed to be a Heisman candidate. He wasn't even in the top 50 as far as I'm concerned. Now, again, the Texas defense going to be hard to do anything against. You're not going to pass the ball big plays. They don't allow it. They get a good rush on the quarterback. So you're going to have to get that running game going and try to milk the clock. That's going to have to be the Clemson strategy, because they lost 3 times this year, and when they lose, their offense sputtered. As far as Texas, they lost to Georgia 2 times. They scored 15 and 19 points. And again, if they have a bad day on offense again and score that low, Clemson's going to have an opportunity to win this game and steal it. Clemson's offense, though, again, either great, fantastic, off the charts, or basically really bad. In the 3 losses, Clemson scored 14 against South Carolina, 21 against Louisville, 3 points against Georgia. They pick up the points and the stats against Cupcake City opponents. So this will be by far their stiffest test of the year. As for Clemson, they won the ACC title game 2 weeks ago, I guess now, but 34-31 over SMU. But the defense did allow 458 total yards, which, again, this has to make Quinn Ewers be saying to himself, wow, I got the right team, too, to go against. I might finally be able to break out in this game against Clemson's defense that has not fared as well against some of the better quarterbacks in the ranks here of college football. Now, neither team played a really tough schedule. Texas has had that one tough game for the most part against Texas A&M. They dominated them, though. I mean, if you see the score, 7 points were an interception for a touchdown by Ewers at the 1-yard line, 99-yard interception return touchdown. They shut him out. So, again, this Texas defense is by far the best defense in this college football playoff, not even close. As far as Texas, though, the offense, to me, one of the 3 or 4 biggest underachievers in college football this year. I expected so much more. The talk of Sark, the head coach, play caller, and how great he was, he couldn't muster anything. And then you had Archie Manning come in a little bit for Ewers when he was hurt. He looked okay, but again, the competition, very hard to really get a good read on teams when they haven't played anybody good. And the one time that they're playing somebody good, which in this case was twice against Georgia, which wasn't this is not Georgia's best team this year. When you struggled both of the games, that's not a good sign going into the college football playoff. But defense for Texas, again, when they lost the SEC title game against Georgia, they allowed only 277 total yards. When they lost the first time to Georgia, they allowed only 283 total yards. So the reason they lost certainly ain't on the defense of Texas. Clemson's got one shot to win in this game. It's probably going to come down to forcing Ewers into turnovers, which he has done. If you can get him to get 2 interceptions, maybe you make a short field, you get a touchdown out of that, keep the momentum going, keep the crowd a little quiet, and you hang in the game. Clemson's job in this game is to hang in the game. They're certainly not going to go out there and pull away, get ahead unless special team touchdowns or punt returns say touchdowns. That's not going to probably happen in this game, so they're going to have to grind it out and go back and forth and hope turnovers can decide the fate of the game. I mean, the line's a little steep for Texas. It's hard. I love the Texas defense. I think if you're looking to bet Texas, you may be better off taking Clemson's team total under rather than try to win the game by 2 touchdowns with an offense in Ewers that really hasn't shown all that much other than, again, he did break out a little bit in the championship game and looked a little bit better than he has in a while. But still, one of their top receivers, Bond, is probably going to miss this game for Texas. That's not helping. Another weapon gone. They've relied on the running back that just came in 3 weeks ago to get the job done. He had 2 phenomenal games. Then last week he didn't have such a great game. So again, did they figure him out a little bit? Not really. I mean, the kid's not a bad runner. But the difference is that Texas has a phenomenal defense. And if you look at the 4 basic parts of this game, Clemson offense, Clemson defense, Texas offense, Texas defense. Texas defense by far is the outstanding unit of those 4, and that will propel them to a victory in this game. But will they win by 2 touchdowns? That's a little bit too steep for me. I'm not going to take Clemson, though. Even though the other part of it is Dabo Swinney, you got to tip your hat to this guy. He has done really well in these big games, playoff games, having some extra time to prepare. He's had his team prepared. Klubnik has not turned the ball over, 5 interceptions. If he doesn't turn it over against Texas defense, but again, how many touchdown passes are you going to throw on a defense that allowed 4 touchdown passes all year? More than 1? I doubt it. So this is a situation where this is a tough game to bet. Again, if you wanted to bet Texas, you lost all the value early on. You waited too long and you got to lay an extra 4 points now, which is valuable numbers here in this game. So this could be makings of a very good game, but this one might be played more close to the vest than any of the other games of these college football playoffs, the first 4 games here. So enjoy this game. Enjoy all the games of the holidays, all the rest of the bowl games, and may all your wagers